Yeah, we be screaming, let's get it. Head up in the clouds.
Main Experience is a luxury lifestyle hub where you can book holidays, corporate events, sports academy events, hotels, nightlife events in London and Marbella, and many more at a discounted rate. What was your inspiration to do this?
Well, I've been doing events for the last 4 years, and I just find, look, if you imagine people come to events, they're spending their money, they're putting their time in, and it's kind of like giving something back. And at the same time, I've been a lot of places, kind of like giving an experience to someone else, but maybe a luxury, or if they can't afford it, and it's kind of giving and sharing what I had now and giving back.
Right, so David, you started your own blog, Underground Exposure, where you wrote about and interviewed up-and-coming artists and about the different events you attended. How did Urban Nerds come about?
Well, Urban Nerds was always, I always knew the guys that sort of headed up Urban Nerds. I mean, I started going when I was 17. I think that was about 8 years ago. So I always knew about what was going on with Urban Nerds. So when I started writing, they took notice and they asked me to come and write a couple of blogs for them, which I gladly accepted. And mainly for the chance of getting into free events.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, they really liked what I was writing. The traffic to the site increased, so they invited me on board to do an internship.
What was the first event you had that on?
The first event was New Year's Eve about 4 years ago. It was a warehouse event down in Old Street. Swan 81 versus Numbers, I think it was. So yeah, it was pretty big for those of you who know about the underground bass side of music.
Okay. What kind of music was that?
Yeah, so a lot of bassy stuff. I mean, dubstep was sort of big at the time. It was sort of fading out. So I mean, Urban Nerds was the first sort of night to bring together so many different genres under one roof, focusing heavily on what London had produced. So the sounds, obviously, dubstep came from Croydon Street, grime came from East London, the likes of Wiley and Dizzy. So we sort of brought that all together, and then we progressed along with that sound.
Right, next we have Nathan, who does various things. Very busy man. You can find the page. Right, so Nathan, you catch him on Twitter at Nathan_JR_ENO. Right, so Nathan, you've been involved in business for the last 6 years whilst running all of soccer camps. Why not focus on just one career?
Good question. Probably hyperactivity. Yeah, I find just sticking to one thing, it's like I read 4 or 5 books at the same time. Not obviously at the same time, but in the same
That'll be quite hard
period of time.
So you're a guy that can't keep still, you need to keep active, you need to do your own sort of, keep busy with loads of things. Okay, how important was networking in the process of gaining relationships with your partners?
Massively.
So what was the main networking technique? Was it, I mean meeting people out, or was it Twitter?
It's like this today, so I think ill will there. I mean, me and him probably having a little meeting probably after this. And I've met him at an event. It's as simple as that. It's true. I mean, literally, all the events that I've been doing, I meet so many people. Whether it's just, I don't know, airlines. So there we go, discounted flights there. Whether working like, I don't know, the Hilton group, it's discounted flights there. So it's more than networking and utilising your skills of communication to drive business and make it go forward. That's the last 3 years. It's been tough.
What's the best thing about organising music events?
The best thing. It's a difficult question. I mean, getting to work with all these different artists. I mean, we work with a lot of fringe artists, so people who are just about to sort of blow, or that we think are sort of about to do really well. So getting to work with the artists, people that you look up to, I'd say, yeah, that's definitely one of the big parts of it.
So who's your favourite artist that you've worked with?
The Really Mental Boys are really cool. I mean, they're still as humble now as they were sort of before they blew. Professor Gloom was another good one, but being a massive Wiley fan, I'd say Wiley has to be the best person I've worked with.
What's your work schedule like? Tell us about a bit of what you do.
So more recently I've realised that I don't give myself enough time. So I used to always rush into everything, rush to work, rush to the next meeting, rush to my next appointment. And so now, I've been able to employ more people. My work schedule is not actually that heavy. I spend a lot more time thinking and analysing and working it out.
And delegating between you.
Yeah, and just kind of, it used to be manic, and I used to think, oh right, I've got to be an entrepreneur, I've got to be up at 6, I've got to get to work at 6:05 and then get home at 9 and not talk to anyone. It's not really the case, because like your sanity is the most important bit. Just knowing that there is another world outside of trying to make money, because it's not really everything.
You've got to enjoy yourself at the same time. So what is your aim as a company?
Yeah, just literally sharing experiences. It is literally that. I mean, I don't come from, I don't know, the wealthy family, and what I've seen and what I've done, I would have never imagined sitting here or doing the things or the certain job that I've got. And it's kind of like just, in that aspect, giving something back. If you do check out my site, you can look and think, oh, it looks too glamorous, it looks like you won't be able to afford it. But I guarantee you now, the things what we can do, what we can offer, you'd be amazed. It's about sharing luxury, if that makes sense. Whether you're from a poor or rich background.
So, what's your typical work schedule like?
We know
A day in the life of David.
we normally try to start about 10:30 in the morning and finish by 6. On an event, we'll start about 6 in the evening and go right through till 6 in the morning, and then we do an after party as well. But yeah, so weekdays it's probably more like 11:05.
What are you doing to improve grassroots sports?
So I wouldn't say that necessarily Zen is the one that's improving grassroots sports. It's probably the other company, which is Turnstyle Academy, and that's so the story is, when I was a kid, just being from like a single parent family, it was quite difficult to find someone to play football with. That's all I wanted to do. Yeah. So I used to get this Walkman and just play in the back garden with music. Yeah. And it used to just make football so fun. So I decided to blow it all up, put it in a massive sports hall with loads of kids, big speakers, samba music, and good coaches.
Proper Brazilian style.
Yeah, exactly that. So it's a Brazilian themed gig. So it's, and that's probably what we're doing, because
does it improve their footballing skills, or is it just something that just?
It massively enhances acceleration in every aspect. Like, music is the only thing that allows you to use 100% of your brain at any one time. Yeah. So you use obviously different parts, but
incorporating that into.
Yeah. So we put it in, and we just did a bit of research about it, and we're producing big results. Maybe 9 or 10 pros in the last 4 years that have been plugged then into Zen to give them the opportunity. So I guess that's what we're doing.
When and where are you happiest?
In the gym, 6:30 in the morning, doing a run.
What skills are most important in your role?
Again, it's drive and the passion for music. Like we all said earlier, my inbox is constantly full of new music, and listening to music about 14 hours a day minimum, it does get to you, and still being able to break it down and listen to it in a critical way, and assessing what would work right for your brand and still enjoying it. But I mean, yes, it all comes down to the passion again.
So, what is your main aim right now?
In business,
with loads of your things going on.
I think my biggest aim is to be able to stand in the mirror and be comfortable in what I've achieved.
So I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Achieve.
Every day.
Learn.
How quickly?
Stress.
Never.
Hard.
Definitely.
What was that in reference to?
The life battles everywhere.
I thought you were.
There's nothing else in there.
Love.
100%.
Kel.
Generous.
Where do you want to be 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself?
Like most event promoters, I'd probably say running a minor festival. That's the dream. That's definitely got to be the pinnacle.
Well, okay, I've got a question here that was actually written by Joe. What shoe size are you? Apparently you've got very small feet. Show your feet.
I'm a size 7 and 8, but I've got really thick legs, so they look smaller.
So it's
to the girls, I'm an 11.
To put that
Actually, the truth is, so my older sister used to completely idolise everything she did, and she always had really small trainers, but always the best trainers. So I was cramming for a few years.
So that's why. So you blamed your sister for.
I probably got really like fucked up shape. So.
Okay, so with a partnership with Kel, how important is it to maintain a good relationship?
Yeah, it's massive. Kel's been like the brother that I never had. So I've known him for like 24 years. We met in primary school. We're in the same class together. We're both really poor. And so we thought, right,
well, not anymore, no. You were very.
Yeah, we were once really poor, so he said, let's be friends. And so we didn't do anything. We just did nothing together. And it gave us enough time to learn about each other. And it is really important to know who you're working with. Don't just work with them. Like, really get to understand interpersonal qualities. Just like take time to know your staff, who you work with, respect and love them. That's the truth.
Everyone's trying to achieve something, that's why we're all here. So just remember this saying, what the mind could believe, the mind could achieve, and really think about that. So it's all about believing that you can do things and you will get there 100%, yeah? Cool.
Something unknown, give a dog a bone, I'm about to, round two, busting